Alright, this is my second time recording this video. I just got done recording it once, and I realized it was like 20 minutes, so I want to keep this a lot briefer, avoid repeating myself too much. So I have a list of bullet points here on my computer, and I just want to talk about these really briefly. So recently I made a video called the Traditional Catholicism Iceberg, where I go through a lot of aspects of traditional Catholicism. I'll go ahead and link in the description in case you haven't seen it and want to go watch it. Personally, I think I did a pretty good job on that video. I'm proud of how it turned out. But there's a few things I wanted to address because it is causing a little bit of, a tiny bit of controversy, I'll say. So, first of all, the response I got was very, very mixed. Some of the comments were amazing. You know, like one person even said that they decided to get baptized after seeing the video. You know, they told their parents, and I talked to them a little bit back and forth in the comments about it, and you know, some people said they were thinking about converting after seeing it, and some people were reverting to the faith after seeing it, and I'm so happy when I see comments like that. Honestly, like my heart just swells up with joy whenever I see that. So I'm really glad that some people got a lot out of that video. And if you've left a comment like that and I've not responded, I'm incredibly sorry. I'm very, very busy, and I try to get to all the comments that I can, and some of them slip through the cracks. So if that's happened, I'm very, very sorry. I try to get to all of them. I sometimes go back through and try to get the ones I missed. But yeah. So there were a fair amount of negative comments, though, and some of them I think were honestly deserved. You know, some of them I thought were just silly. Or a lot of them I thought were silly. But, you know, some of them I was like, okay, these people are making a good point here, and I should probably address some of this stuff. And some of this stuff was about me being too cozy with like sedevacantism and too radical in some of my views. And there's a few things I want to say in that vein. First of all, I intended this video to be entertainment first and foremost, not some deep theological explanation of these topics. And sometimes I just kind of lost the forest for the trees when making these things. I was like, okay, what'll be the best entertainment? And I kind of lost sight of things. You know, anyone who's worked on a really big project like this knows that it's very easy to lose the forest for the trees. So, yeah, a couple times I do think I went a little overboard with how I explained things. I could have had a lot more tact in how I went about it. When I made the video, I thought, you know, maybe like 1,000 people tops will see this, like maybe 1,000 views. At the absolute most, maybe like 5,000 if I'm really, really, really lucky. But I thought it wasn't unthinkable at all that it'd just get like 50 views because that's what's happened to me most of the time. But it ended up getting like almost 80,000. It's like a few thousand short of 80,000, and I was just blown away. I was like, you know, I'm so happy that a lot of people have watched it and got a lot out of it. But I think I would have had a lot more tact if I knew that so many people were going to watch this. So, but yeah, I think I was a little too cozy with sedevacantism. With Father Feeney, I should have been more clear that what I was saying is, while his position was not officially condemned as heresy, it's wrong and you shouldn't believe it. I should have, you know, put the proper distinctions in there. Another thing is, I assumed everyone would be approaching it from the same place as me. You know, oh, of course Feeneyism's wrong. Of course, sedevacantism is not a position that Catholics can hold. And I just kind of assumed everyone would know that. And after reading some of the comments and watching the sections I did on that, I was like, oh yeah, I shouldn't really just assume that everyone's approaching it from that same place. So I think I was a little bit not very prudent with that. And I've learned over the last few weeks that sedevacantism is much bigger than I originally thought. Like, a bunch of sedevacantists reached out to me after that video, like tons of them. And some of them were really, really great. Like, honestly, some of them were super smart, super intelligent, super polite, great to talk to. Just all around seemed like great people. So, but I'm going to make some sweeping generalizations. Most of them were very hard to get along with. I feel like the grace of God is not in that group as a whole. I'm not saying about all of them. Some of them were really, really great. Super smart. I mean, there's this one guy, if you're watching this, you know who you are. We just talked for like several hours, and he kicked my butt on everything. It was like, whenever I brought up an idea, he just like immediately knew like 10 times more than I did, and was super well spoken and quick on his feet with thinking. So I don't want to dox anyone by giving names, but you know who you are. But yeah, I talked to a lot of them, and I felt like most of the time I couldn't just have an honest conversation with them about like Vatican II or the post-conciliar popes or anything like that. It was like I couldn't have an honest conversation. They just wanted to like get name calling and bickering, and there's several people who might be watching this right now and thinking like, oh, he's saying that after the interaction that we had. I had a lot of private interactions and group interactions with them. I'm not even thinking of any one specific incident. Like it kept happening again and again and again with like every sedevacantist I encountered was just they didn't want to have an honest conversation. They just wanted to name call. It's so hard to deal with them. And honestly, the movement seems a little bit spiritually poisonous because it's like if this is the one true perspective on the faith, I don't think it would bear such bad fruits. It's like the individual members are just so angry all the time. But again, I don't want to condemn all of them. Some of you guys were really great people. And I think I am actually starting to work on some anti-sedevacantist stuff right now. I think there is some good stuff out there, but there's not a lot of it considering how big this issue is becoming. And this is a little bit of a mea culpa for me as well, because I feel like I was too friendly to sedevacantists in my original video. But after just interacting with tons and tons and tons of them, I realized I think there's just something wrong with the movement as a whole. If all of them are just so angry. I mean, I've talked to religions that are obviously false. Mormons, Lutherans, Methodists. I mean, obviously they're wrong about their faith, but and even they, I feel like, have a little bit more natural virtue about them. You can talk to them about these issues, and it doesn't have to just devolve into bickering and name calling constantly. I also want to talk about the SSPX a little bit because I know everyone wants me to give my opinion on it, and I do have to say, while my official stance is I don't think people should be attending society chapels, I think the debate needs to be happening currently among people who know a lot more than I do. I plan to research it maybe a few years down the road. If I have a more informed opinion, I can start doing debates on this. But as it stands currently in 2023, I don't think I have enough of an opinion, an informed opinion at least, to officially say I can give the exact truth on the matter. But it does seem like things that I thought were not actually their position and caricatures of their position is actually their position. Like, take, for example, don't go to Mass on Sundays if all you have is a Novus Ordo. Just stay home. I thought that was a caricature. I thought, oh yeah, there's probably some people in the SSPX who believe that, but I don't think it's everyone who says that. I don't think it's an official one of their stances. And I was shocked when I started seeing from official SSPX sources, them saying, if all you have is a Novus Ordo, stay home. And I'm like, this is insane. So that's where I stand currently. I'm willing to let the debate happen among smarter minds of my own who know a lot more than I do, but I really don't feel like Catholics should be attending society chapels. And if all you have is a Novus Ordo, guys, Mass is Mass. The sacraments are sacraments. I don't think there's any slam dunk argument that can be made that to say that the Novus Ordo is a sin to attend. It's like, how can the church promulgate a liturgy that is actively sinful for the members to attend? I just don't see how the dots connect in my mind. Also, real quick, I just wanted to address things. I know I was a little bit radical with how I was presenting some of these things. Again, that goes back to me thinking of it as entertainment at the time. But honestly, I was dogging on a lot of things. If you got a lot out of the catechism from reading at the 90s catechism, honestly, that's great. Seriously, that's super great. I'm not trying to diminish that or belittle anyone for that. I just think, personally, I think it's a little goofy. And I think in the church, people are allowed to have these variant opinions. I know I said like, oh, it's not heresy if it's not saying anything. Again, I was looking for just like punchy little comments, not nuanced descriptions of my thoughts on the matter. Catholics, of course, can read the 90s catechism. There's nothing wrong with it. It's been officially produced by the church. So really, if you've gotten stuff out of that, I'm not trying to take that away. And I'm not saying people shouldn't read it. I personally just think it's kind of goofy. And I know there's a lot of people who feel the same way that I do. And that gets into bigger things as well, such as like women veiling in churches and while praying and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people are like, well, the cultural context, it's like, well, look at the context of the passage. St. Paul is not talking about like, oh, culturally, we know that this is bad. He's clearly making some theological point. Ultimately, that's a discipline, and the church is allowed to change its disciplines if it wants to. And I think it's very imprudent. I don't think they ever should have done it. And I'll continue to say that. but I'm not trying to say that they had no right to do it. It's like, oh, they're going against the Bible, therefore they have no right to do that. I don't get to condemn my own church like that. Again, I was just looking for punchy, quick commentary on it. And if you're a woman, I think you should veil. I think the Bible is pretty clear on that. But I'm not going to sit here and say you're sinning if you don't, because the church has made it clear that currently women don't have to veil if they don't want to. I think that was imprudent. But, at the end of the day, I'm not the one issuing these decisions. The church is. It's my job to submit. In general, I'll try to be a lot more careful about these things going forward. I never expected so many people to see it. I guess what I'm taking from this is, even if going forward there's probably only going to be maybe a couple thousand views on my videos if I'm lucky, I should still keep in mind it's possible for one of them to get pretty big and get like 80,000 views. So even if I don't expect a lot of people to see it, I should just treat it as if it is. So I'm going to have more tact going forward. I'm going to try to make proper distinctions. I do think there needs to be a little more comedy in the Catholic sphere. I'm not a great comedian, but I think that generally there needs to be a little more variety in how content is done, different approaches, and I'm trying to supply that a little bit. In general, I have a lot of ideas for Catholic videos that would appeal to Gen Zers, but I just feel like everyone would take it the wrong way. I really like the Mr. Incredible becoming uncanny trend. It's the stupidest thing in the world, but I personally really like it, and I think it'd be fun to do like Catholic variations on it. But seriously, guys, what would people think about that? If they're not in on the joke, they just see it and think that it's like satanic or demonic or something. So I think that there needs to be a variety of approaches. Sometimes it's hard for me to know where exactly I can draw the lines in entertainment and Catholic content. It's a lot of things to keep in mind. I'm still new at this. I'm still learning. I'm really glad that a lot of people have joined on from the Traditional Catholicism Iceberg, and some more content is coming out soon. It's going to be pretty good in my opinion. I'm really trying hard with some of this stuff. That's why it takes so long for videos to come out. So my fault for not being very clear on a couple things. I'll try to be more clear. But mostly, I just want to bring some variety into Catholic content. I think it's an untapped medium. There's some great people out there doing a lot of amazing work. People like Trent Horn, Jimmy Akin. Jimmy Akin's really good at bringing variety into content. I also think people like Taylor Marshall are great. But I think there needs to be more like structured comedy and stuff like that, because there's not a lot of that, and things that are just general entertainment that's not quite like the theological explanations. But I'll try to walk the line a little better. I'll try to keep distinctions in mind, and I hope you like what's coming soon, because I think it's going to be really great. God bless you all.